In this video, we're going to consider homeostasis again, and we're going to look at how we can balance blood sugar levels. So you can see in this image here of a seesaw that if you have our body in homeostatic balance, then the seesaw is level and the internal conditions are balanced. But there may be times when the seesaw tips in one direction or the seesaw tips in another direction. And you can see here that internal adjustment is necessary to get back to the balance. So when we're thinking about balancing blood sugar levels, and we need to think about what exactly is blood sugar. Well, blood sugar is also known as glucose. We need to keep the levels just perfect because our body always needs a supply of food. So in particular, our brain cells, our heart muscle, and actually, in fact, every single cell in the body needs glucose to do respiration to allow it to keep functioning. And we need to make sure that as we eat sugar, we don't end up with too much in our body. And it doesn't have to just be sugar that we eat. We could eat any carbohydrate that we then break down into sugar. We don't want too much sugar in our blood because that will draw water out of our cells and dehydrate our cells and give us a headache. But also, if we haven't eaten for a while, or if we're exercising lots, or if we're stressed and we need lots of glucose in our body cells to actually burn for energy, we need to make sure we don't run out, especially in these important areas like brain cells and heart muscle. So let's have a look at how we manage this. And this is quite a complex diagram, so I'm going to talk through it with you. So we're going to start with understanding that in the middle here, this is the ideal level of glucose. It's a set point of 90 milligrams of glucose dissolved in every 100 milliliters of blood. And sometimes we eat something and our blood glucose levels rise. So there is our stimulus, a rise in blood glucose levels. The pancreas detects that, and the pancreas releases insulin into the blood. And insulin travels around in the blood. It's a hormone. And when it reaches the liver or any body cells, it will communicate to that cell and the liver to take up glucose out of the blood. And that means that the blood glucose levels fall and go back to the set point of 90 milligrams per 100 milliliters of blood. Now, that's great. What about if you've been asleep for a while and your blood glucose levels are falling? When you wake up, your pancreas will detect this fall in glucose away from the ideal. It will release a different hormone called glucagon. Glucagon travels around in the blood, and when it reaches the liver, this time it says to the liver, hey, break down some of that stored up glucose that you stored up from yesterday, release it into the blood, and now the blood sugar levels rise back to the ideal point. So let's have a look at how that can be laid out in a different way. We've got a flow diagram here. So let's draw some arrows to connect these. The blood sugar levels rise. The pancreas releases some insulin. The liver and body cells take up the extra glucose, so the blood sugar levels fall. An easy flow diagram to look at. We can add some words that we've met before to this. The stimulus is the rise in blood sugar levels. The receptors of that stimulus are the pancreas cells, and they release the messenger insulin. So we have the receptor is the pancreas, and the messenger is insulin. Then our liver is the effector because it is receiving the message, and the response is for blood sugar levels to fall. Let's have a look at the opposite effect. So blood sugar levels now have fallen too far. This causes the pancreas to release glucagon. Glucagon triggers the liver to release glucose, and the blood sugar levels go back up to the right level. The stimulus is the fall in blood sugar levels. The receptor is our pancreas. Let's make that a little bit smaller, put it next to there. And our messenger now is the hormone glucagon. The liver is our effector, and the response is a rise in blood sugar levels. So bringing together our words that we've been meeting about coordination with a homeostasis to maintain the balance for blood sugar levels.